Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Packers Daily here on Cheesehead TV and all our social channels. Good to see everybody already in the comments section. It's a little over a week away until the start of the new league year. Reports are swirling that the franchise tag deadline may have to be moved back because we don't have a final salary cap number yet. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Or, things will be just fine and we'll all carry on with our lives. I prefer to fall in camp too. Hope you do as well. Hope you all had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. Went to see Raya and the Last Dragon with my daughters. The cinemas have opened back up in New York City. Could not wait to get back, and it did not disappoint. Great movie, great experience. Get out to the movies, support your local movie theater people. And then yesterday we went to the Met, and it always fills my soul. I am pumped. The Packers about to get crazy. Figure they got about 7, 8 days now to get their shop in order as far as the salary cap goes. I know Albert Breer reporting that Preston Smith has been a subject of trade talks. I got to think that's an agent trying to pump up his client's name a little bit. I would be absolutely 1 billion% shocked if the Packers actually did trade Preston. If for no other reason than who is taking on that contract. I understand there are teams out there with salary cap space, but I can't imagine someone looking at his tape last year and thinking, yeah, I want to give up assets and take on that contract for what I just saw. So we'll see. We'll find out. Good to see everybody in the comments. Podcast 1919, thanks for starting us out on the Super Chat. Snags, our Packers Play 60 season started. I'm head coach. My son's the running back, and we beat the Finns 24-18. Go, Pack, go. Podcast, well done, man. That is so cool that you do that. I love my girls, but I wish just one of them was even tangentially interested in football. But of course, none of them are. Love that you're doing that with your kid. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Great start to the season. Mike, thanks for the super chat. How bad is Corey going to freak when Goody's one big novel for free agency is signing punter Thomas Morstead? Come on now, you're not keeping up. I gave him a clear no on Twitter, people. Not to say he won't bring in a punter, but it won't be Morstead. Danny Shelton. Hey, I'm down with Danny Shelton. Come on now. Tag Aaron Jones, trade him to Miami for a second rounder. Mike, I don't know about a second rounder, but I think it's a possibility. The idea of tagging and trading him. Maybe it's a second rounder. I think a third rounder would probably be more realistic, but it's a possibility. Matt Kyler Fackrell season. I know Andy Herman put that out there when everyone was talking about J.J. Watt, somewhat as a joke and somewhat as that's the kind of move you can probably expect. And I got to agree, that's the kind of move you can probably expect. Although I will say, I got to call out Mr. Herman for his video on Pack-A-Day podcast this morning. Andy Herman throwing out into the universe the potential trading of a Davante Adams. And I know, look, I understand. He said it will never happen. But just to speak it into the existence of the world is it's a foul, man. That is not just a foul. It is foul. Don't go down that path, Andy. I implore you. Come on, man. We got enough hot take merchants in the world already. We don't need you adding to the mix. That's all I have to say about that. Rusty's here. What's up, Rusty? How are you doing, man? Dan, well, I love this question. If you were general manager, what realistic free agents would you pick up? Dan, this is why it's good I'm not the general manager, because I would completely kick the can down the street and go all in, and I'd find a way to sign Dalvin Tomlinson and Richard Sherman. Who else could I get? I'd probably sign Allen Robinson. That's what I would do. And I would structure the contracts so bad and just say, Russ Ball, I don't care what it takes. I want these guys on my team. That's why everyone should be thanking their lucky stars. I'm not the GM. I do actually think Tomlinson is the possible one kind of guy they could go get. You heard Goody talk about the possible one move they can make. I think that's a move they could make. It would probably mean it's the only move they make, but it's doable. As far as more realistic options, I think a guy, and I think I've said this here before, a guy that I think Packers fans should have on their radar is AJ Bowie, who, yes, is slated to be suspended at the start of the year, but he's a corner who can play on the perimeter. I think would slide right in to Kevin King's role, although that will be a new role per se in a new defense. But could play opposite Jaire, familiar with the scheme, and probably could come somewhat. Now it's never cheap, but somewhat affordable comparative to a lot of the other options that are out there. Didn't Allen Robinson get mad at you on Twitter? He did get mad at me on Twitter, but that wouldn't stop me from signing him. For those of you who weren't privy to that exchange, the Bears were playing the Saints a couple years ago, and the Saints were absolutely destroying them. And then and throughout that game, and this extended to this past season when these guys played, but throughout that game years ago, the secondary of the Saints and the wide receivers, particularly Robinson of the Bears, were jawing throughout the game. I mean, it was heated. But then, like I said, the Saints pulled away. The game was long over. But then later in the game, I think it was the fourth quarter, Allen Robinson scored a touchdown and got in the face of some DB. And I just put on all I said was Allen Robinson mean mugging the Saints DBs down multiple scores in the fourth quarter. That's all I said. And I didn't tag the man. I would just no beef. I got nothing against him. I get what he's doing, but it was kind of funny, you know? And then and I'm not exaggerating, not 10 minutes after the game was over, this man must have searched his name on Twitter immediately upon arriving in the locker room because he came at me on Twitter and said, "Keep my name out your mouth." So I shouldn't even be saying his name because I said, "Of course, Bears wide receiver 1, I will do so." So Bears wide receiver 1, I salute you because you're probably not going to be Bears wide receiver 1 for much longer. With Jones and Williams most likely gone, I'm very interested in what the Packers will do in the running back room. Mark, I suspect it'll be the A.J. Dillon show with augmentation via the draft and the possibility of some guys lower on the depth chart and or practice squad getting their opportunities. But I think the fact that Dillon was taken in the second round tells you A.J. Dillon's going to play early and often. Can you talk more about people inside 1265 wanted to drop Bostic? Well, the thing was not so much that it was a group collective thing, although I think most people were in agreement. It was really spearheaded by Alonzo Highsmith. Alonzo implored Ted to cut him throughout the season. And Ted, being Ted, was, no, I think he's going to help us. I believe in him. And that belief definitely was not paid off. What happened to the James White stuff? Interesting how that works, right, Charlie? Got his name out there nice early and often. Maybe it still happens. I'd be absolutely shocked unless he's happy to play for the Packers on the veterans minimum with no guaranteed money, which, come on, that's not going to happen. So, a lot of the time that's just someone, usually an agent, trying to get a guy's name out there, especially prior to free agency. But yeah, like I said, it could still happen. Maybe they make that call, but I can't imagine them putting resources in at running back when they have so many other things to do when it comes to the cap. Next, do you think we pick up a running back? No, Joseph, I don't. I know I heard on McAfee, what was it? Diana talking about Chris Carson as a possibility, and maybe they've had those discussions internally, but I can't imagine that's another move that would surprise me greatly. Just doesn't seem very in keeping with the Packers. Are reading mock drafts the same as reading the dictionary? Andrew, only in the sense that I kind of glaze over halfway through them all. But no, I mean, I get mock drafts and I get reading them and I get that they generate conversation and people get excited by them. And I'm for it, man. I get it. I get why people do it. It's not for me, but I understand why people like it. Corey, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Nags, could you remind us again of the need to use the tag date, otherwise known as the Break Packers fan art date? I don't remember the actual day. I know it was couple of days ago we were talking about how it was 10 days away. Hold on. I think headline. And I know there was a report this morning that there might possibly okay, here we go. So A storyline to follow going forward. This is from Rappaport. If the official salary cap number doesn't come today and soon, NFL will have to move back the deadline to franchise tag players from Tuesday. So that's tomorrow. It's a situation several GMs are bracing for and would further stall business for a bit. So look for that salary cap number today, people. Hopefully we get that and start to, start to get some clarity here. One underrated thing I'll miss about Jones and Williams was their pass protection. So freaking good. Absolutely, Michael. And that's where you really need A.J. Dillon to take some strides. He was okay as the year wore on. He struggled in camp. I mean, we only had 2 weeks, limited time, no preseason, etc. So it's not surprising. Most rookie backs start out like that. Williams really hit the ground running. He's one of the better backs I've seen who came in and really got it right away. Jones himself struggled initially, I've told this story often. Brandon Jackson, probably the best pass protecting back I've ever seen with my own eyes, was terrible his first summer. And I'm talking terrible with a capital T. So, those are things that can be learned. They can be taught. Technique can be taught. It's up to the guy to take that teaching and run with it. But yeah, Dillon's got work to do there. There's no doubt about it. Any update on the Cheesehead TV draft guide? Yes, Dunny. Actually, it's funny enough. We have the page ready to go for pre-sale. We're having a problem with the actual what do you call it? The mechanism that takes the order. So we just don't want to make it live until we get that fixed. Our devs are working on it as we speak, and hopefully we'll have that announcement later today, and you can get in line to get your Cheesehead TV draft guide. We don't have an official date yet for when it will drop, but that information will be coming soon. And also, just so you know, much like last year, Patreon members will get early access. So if you're a Patreon member, be on the lookout for a message on the Patreon page about when you'll be getting your draft guides. You still have to order it, still have to buy it. You don't get a free one. No freebies in this world, but you'll get it early. Sean, thanks for the super chat. Why is Kevin King not included in the top 101 free agents? Is he that bad? Minus championship game. Sean, really depends. It's all subjective, right? I would imagine you're talking about Greg Rosenthal's 101, but maybe you're talking about PFFs. But hey, man, there's a lot of good players out there, especially this year. There's probably a lot more going to be hitting the market. So, I mean, let's say he's the 150th. Is he that bad? Yeah, well, he's bad comparative to the other 100 maybe, but still can be utilized. All players have value, and he'll probably get paid somewhere. And Packers fans should hope he gets paid because that means their comp pick is going to be better on the rebound. Mike, thanks for the super chat. Long-time watcher, first-time super chatter. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the support. Could this be another draft coming up with multiple early picks used on cornerback? Mike, I don't want to say yes, but yes. I mean, would it surprise me? Absolutely not. I do think a big part of that is going to be about how the board falls. Now, maybe that's just where the value is. I would be absolutely shocked if they come out of this draft without at least one corner. Could they use multiple picks on a corner? No question about it. If the if the value's there, I don't think Gutekunst would hesitate to make those picks. Would you be smitten if Jamal were back? We need that pass pro. Smitten is an interesting use of words. I probably would not be. I'm sure Big B would be over the moon, but I'd be happy. It's always great to have a rock solid pass protector back there with your franchise quarterback. Trivia, says Joseph. Trivia's on the way. A couple weeks away yet. Just relax. It'll be here. I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. We got a lot of stuff going on at LiveX. We got a lot of stuff going on at Cheesehead TV. Trivia will happen. Look, we've still got all free agency to go through, and we got the draft, and then we've got a lot of dead time. So just relax. We'll get to trivia. It will happen. Patience. Is Clay Matthews an option this year? What year is it? No. Any Lindsley updates? Nothing, Steven. Nothing since we spoke to him here on the YouTube channel. Will there be players that have been released that are talented but cannot find a deal for themselves? Seems like a buyer's market this year. Brandy, that is the theory, the working theory of a lot of front offices at the moment. And one of the big reasons we don't really know who's going to be on the market as far as getting cut, et cetera, is because of the fact that we don't have a hard salary cap yet, a number yet. And once that number is made official, hopefully later today, you'll start to see cuts and you'll start to see teams who I think, and this is my suspicion, I don't obviously have any inside info here, but my suspicion is lots of teams probably have different plans set up for different numbers. Okay, if the cap comes in at 190, here's how we have to operate and here's are the moves we have to make. If it comes in at 188, this is what we're going to do. So I think a lot of those moves will happen quickly once we get that number. We just need the number, man. It'd be great. Walter, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Is this draft class weak interior defensive talent? Yes, unfortunately. There's no doubt about it that defensive tackle in particular is one of the weaker spots depth-wise in the draft. But as I said last week, that doesn't mean you can't get a good player. Doesn't mean you can't find talent. Just means it's not on offer as much as wide receiver or offensive tackle. Offensive tackle in particular is pretty top heavy. There's a lot of talent in the kind of upper echelon of this class. Maybe the Packers, I would not be surprised if they went that route at 29 if there was someone available there. Also wouldn't surprise me if they took a wide receiver this year. They can shut the hell up. It'd be great. But yeah, defensive tackle is a weak spot in this draft, no doubt. Joe, thanks for the super chat. How about a Cheesehead TV fan March Madness pool? You know, Joe, we've done that before, and it's kind of always just petered out. But, you know, I'll talk to Al about it. If we were going to do one, Al would probably run it on the website. We'll see. It's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Aiden, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Nags, how are you? Quick question. Davis? As in Corey Davis? I'm all in on Corey Davis. I don't know what the numbers would be, but I love him as a player. I know he's had a real up and down career so far at Tennessee. I think a lot of that's been due to the quarterback and the offenses he's been asked to play in. I would absolutely love to see him in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers pulling the trigger. He's got at least a year of familiarity with LaFleur. Maybe they make that move. I wouldn't sleep on that Will Fuller report, though, from Rob. Like I said last week, Rob wouldn't put that out there if that wasn't being seriously discussed inside 1265. So, but yeah, Corey Davis is definitely someone I would love to see in green and gold. Bring back Jordy. Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, Daniel, we found Wildy's burner account. Nice. Do you think the Joe Barry defensive scheme? Excuse me, guys. Do you think the Joe Barry defensive scheme can turn this defense from passive to aggressive? Duke, I think that's one of the reasons Barry's here is his energy level, his aggressiveness. He wants to be a reflection. I think LaFleur has chosen him to be a reflection of how LaFleur wants defense to be played. Yeah, we'll see. That's the big question mark. And hey, it's all on LaFleur now because this is his handpicked guy. You know, no more falling back on, well, you know, this is Mike's defense and this is how he knows more about defense than anybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, now this is your guy. This is the stamp of your vision of how you want the defense to play. So if they are playing off on 3rd and short, I don't want to hear no nonsense. That's all I want to say. Brandy, so depth at running back is not a concern, Nags? Right now, on March 8th, no. Who do they play Sunday? No, it's not a concern. They'll have undoubted moves that they make throughout the offseason to augment that position. I don't doubt for a second that they'll probably draft a back late in the draft. Maybe they sign a bargain basement free agent. But, you know, I know Matt wants to rotate those backs. He's always talked about having 3. I think it's going to be A.J. Dillon and some guys. That's my guess right now, sitting here on March 8th. But we'll see how it plays out. William, thanks for the super chat. Do you think we'll supply Barry with some pieces on defense like we did Pettin? I don't know about that, William. I think he's got a good foundation. He's got some pieces. He's got those pieces. You know, you can't just keep spending and pouring resources into one side of the football. Now, that said, again, it really depends on how the draft falls, tier depth value-wise. Maybe they look at, you know, like I said, a Dalvin Tomlinson in free agency or a corner, but I don't think they're going to go overboard and say, we got to get this guy resources. As he said in his introductory press conference, he's got a great kind of foundation to work with, much more talent than he ever had to work with in Washington or Detroit. So that excuse is not applicable here. Chad Ochocinco, now we're really off the rails. Bring back Sharp. Hey, I bet you he could still give you a couple quality minutes and a few patterns into the end zone for a touchdown. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking some Packers this morning. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on this video. Subscribe to the channels. And if you're so inclined and you really want to support what we do at Cheesehead TV, please consider giving us $5 a month on our Patreon page, patreon.com/CheeseheadTV. Everything there goes to support everything we do at Cheesehead TV in all facets. And as I always say, every place you go on the internet, almost everyone, I can't really think of one that doesn't. If you go far enough up the structure, they're all supported by some kind of corporate entity. Cheesehead TV is not. We are completely 100% bootstrap. Everything you guys do to support us on Patreon really goes a long way. We can't thank you enough for the support. Hey, but if you can't, totally understand. But do please hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Hopefully we get that cap number. We get some moves happening. We got stuff to talk about tomorrow. Or nothing happens and we're left here twiddling our thumbs. Can't wait. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack, go.